Hi, I'm Ian Freeman. I'm running for Keene City Council, at-large candidate, and just wanted to give you a brief rundown of some of the things that are important to me as a candidate for City Council. Some of the things I'd like to see accomplished. Obviously, I would need support from other councilors to do most of this stuff, but these are the ideals. So maybe many of you remember the Bearcat that came in back in like 2011, 2012. It was very controversial. The Keene City Council voted overwhelmingly in favor of it. There were a few who voted against it, and we ended up getting this massive tank-like device. I think it was Kendall Lane who called it a tank. And it still sits. They trot it out every now and then, and guzzles gas and is really expensive to to just have and maintain. So I'd like to see, just as a symbolic measure to show that Keene is against police militarization, send the Bearcat back to where it came from, the Lenco manufacturer. They can keep it. So let's just have somebody drive it on back down there and leave it there with them. And that leads me to another important issue, and that's always been an important issue, not just here in Keene, but globally and across the U.S., and that is police abuse, police violence, abusing peaceful people, specifically victimless crimes. We've seen some movement from the State House on decriminalization of cannabis, but it doesn't go far enough. We still have the police out every single weekend, for instance in the college neighborhoods when college is in session, cracking down on young people for doing nothing besides maybe having an open container and walking from one house to another. And they arrest them, they terrorize them, they frighten them, they're crying. It's just horrible. And then, of course, they extract hundreds of dollars from them in the court system. So it's really just a money-making scam, basically. So I'd like to see an end to enforcement of all victimless crimes here in Keene. That includes, open container. It includes cannabis. It includes drinking. If there's no victim, there shouldn't be a crime. And certainly that includes the ridiculous increase that the Keene City Council passed of the smoking age and the e-cigarette age here in Keene. They raised that to 21, which is, outrageous. All of these things should not be enforced by the police. The police should be enforcing crimes with a victim, like, murder and rape and arson, things like that, stealing, breaking and entering. So I'd like to see the police focused on that kind of thing. Also, taxes here are just absolutely horrible. It drives young people out of the area. They're ridiculous, so the city government needs to get cut down, and there's some real obvious areas that can happen, and these are just a couple of them. But ending zoning and code enforcement, those bureaucracies can be eliminated entirely. Let's let the market decide these things. We don't need some central controlling bureaucrats to make those decisions, so you can just cut those bureaucracies out entirely from the entire budget. And also the parking department. What a waste. The city government spent, I think, about $100,000 of your money, of taxpayer dollars, fighting the Robin Hooders, of which I was one, that saved thousands of people in Keene, thousands of people that live here and people that come in here to work from getting parking tickets a few years ago. They sued us in court and they lost. And they lied about us, claiming that there were, mean things being said to them. They were being threatened, which wasn't true at all. If it was true, they would have come after us with criminal threatening charges, and they never did that. So they lost in court. They lost at the New Hampshire Supreme Court, and they lost every, step of the way up there, and they spent your money to fight that. And the parking enforcement department is completely unnecessary, and that's proven by that 1 week in Christmas, the busiest shopping week of the year, purportedly when parking enforcement would be necessary, but they take it off. And so if you ever needed proof that we don't need them, that's your proof right there. So that's another thing, and let's see, there's, I'm sure, some other stuff, but this is a limited presentation. I appreciate your attention. Again, I'm Ian Freeman, and I'm running for the at-large city council position here this year in 2019. Make sure you get out to the primary date in early October that I don't have right now. I think it's the first Tuesday in October because there's a large primary and I could use your help. You can go to nhliberty.info to learn more about what the campaign's all about. That's nhliberty.info. Thanks so much. Again, Ian Freeman, at-large city council.